Hello and welcome to the Ssc Cgl mock test, and this is a topic based test. So for today our topic is going to be antonyms. Now antonyms are opposite words, so in order to solve these problems it's going to be a test of your vocabulary, and so let's get down to it, straight down to antonyms. So let's press start and get started with the questions. So we come to question number 1, and the word given is arrogant, and the options given are favorable, illiterate, kind, and humble. And the correct answer for us is going to be option D, which says humble, because someone who is arrogant is someone who behaves in a very unpleasant way and thinks too much of himself, and someone who is humble is just the opposite. He doesn't behave in a very self-important way. So our correct option is going to be option D, which says humble. We click on humble. So coming to question number 2, the word given is impoverished, and the options given over here are pure, affluent, important, and efficient. And the correct answer is going to be option B, which says affluent. Impoverished means very poor, someone who doesn't have wealth and money, and affluent means someone who is very wealthy, having a lot of wealth and money. So exactly the opposite word. So we click option B and then we say next. So we come to the next question, and the word given is affirmed, and the options given are contradicted, opposed, disputed, and denied. And our answer is going to be option D, which says denied, because affirmed means stating publicly that something is true, that something is correct, and denied would mean just the opposite. It is stating that something has not happened. You deny it. So exactly the opposite. So we go and click on option D. So on to question number 4, and the word is overt, and the options given are inexplicable, ambiguous, concealed, and manifest. And the answer is going to be option 3, which says concealed. Overt means when you know something is in the open, something which is not hidden from view. Everyone can see it. And concealed, on the other hand, is something which is hidden. So it is exactly the opposite. It's an antonym. We click option C. So we come to question number 5, and the word given is innocuous, and the options given are pernicious, fine, strong, and hygienic. And our answer is going to be option A, which says pernicious. Now innocuous means something which is very harmless, and pernicious is something which can cause a lot of harm. So it's exactly the opposite word, and so we click option A and we say next. So we come to question number 6, and the word given is querulous, and the options given are strange, uncomplaining, answerable, and stranger. And our answer is going to be option B, which says uncomplaining. Querulous means when someone is always ready to quarrel, always ready to fight, and always complaining about things. Uncomplaining is just the opposite, someone who doesn't even complain. So it's opposites, antonyms. We click on option B. So coming to question number 7, the word is quiescent, and the options given are active, rough, quaint, and queer. And our answer is going to be option A, which says active. Quiescent is inactive, dormant, which doesn't move, and active is just the opposite of that, something which is not dormant, very active. So we click on option A. So on to question number 8, and the word is visionary, and the options given are farsighted, regular, pragmatist, and piety. And our answer is going to be option C, which says pragmatist. Now, visionary is usually someone who is very far-sighted, who can look into the future and take decisions according to that. And pragmatist is someone who's just the opposite, who is very much concerned with the practical day-to-day affairs and doesn't really look into the future. That's another way of looking at it. So we will say option C. So on to question number 9. The word is devout, and the options given are pious, pure, treacherous, and ardent. And our answer is going to be option C, which says treacherous. Devout, someone who is very much into religion, who believes a lot in a particular set of beliefs, and and on the other hand, treacherous is something which is very hard to believe. So they are antonyms, we can say, and we click option C. On to question number 10, and the word is apparition, and the options given are realness, perceptible, illusion, and undetectable. And the correct option is the first option, which says realness. Now, apparition is usually a ghost, usually an image of someone who is dead. So it is something in the head, not very real. On the other hand, realness is something we can all feel, we can all sense. So we say option A. So coming to question number 11, the word given is penurious, and the options given are destitute, impoverished, impecunious, and opulent. And the correct option for us is going to be option D, which says opulent. Penurious is something which is very poor, doesn't have a lot of wealth or money or things. But opulent is just the opposite. It shows you are very wealthy, you have things in abundance. So it's just the opposite of penurious. So we go ahead and click option D. So coming to question number 12, the word is accentuate, and the options given are disparage, enunciate, aggrandize, and exacerbate. And the correct option for us is option A, which says disparage. Accentuate means placing a lot of importance on something, making something very important. And disparage, on the other hand, is making something less important, belittling something. It's exactly the opposite. So we click option A. So we come to question number 13, and the word is debauched, and the options given are dissipated, depraved, honorable, and unrestrained. And the correct option is going to be option C, which says honorable. Debauched is lacking moral values, something which is very immoral. And honorable is something which has a lot of honor. Anything you do with a lot of honor is honorable. They are exactly opposites, and we click option C. Come to question number 14, and the word is detest, and the options given are denounce, ignore, adore, and castigate. So the correct option is going to be option C, which says adore. Detest is to hate someone, and adore is to love someone. Hate and love, the opposites. We say option C. So we come to question number 15. The word is epitome, and the options given are quintessence, paragon, enlargement, and incarnation. And Our answer is going to be option 3, which says enlargement. Epitome is an example, a perfect example of something, and enlargement is to make it big. So something which is perfect example, on the other hand, something which is bigger than it actually is. So we click option C, that's the nearest antonym we have for this word, and say next. So we come to question number 16, and the word is gumption, and the options given are ingenuity, stupidity, sagacity, and acumen. And our answer is going to be option B, which says stupidity. Gumption is when you have a lot of courage, having a lot of bravery and courage, that is gumption. And stupidity is anything you do which lack thought or knowledge, is being stupid. So the nearest antonym we have to gumption is stupidity. So we click there, option B. So on to question number 17. The word is inertia, and the options given are stupor, vigor, languor, and inertness. And our answer is option B, which says vigor. Inertia is lacking energy, lacking movement, and vigor, on the other hand, is having a lot of energy. So they are very nearly the opposites. We click option B. So coming to question number 18, the word is squander, and the options given us spend, reduce, slander, and skimp. So our option is going to be the last option, option D, which says skimp. Squander is spending money in a very thoughtless way, without any thought, spending money very carelessly. And skimp is when you don't spend money on important things, that is skimp. So very nearly opposites again, antonyms, and we click option D. So on to question number 19, the word is diffident, and the options given are shy, brave, confident, and meek. And our answer is option C, which says confident. Diffident is someone who doesn't have confidence, very shy person, and confidence is the opposite, when you have a lot of confidence. So option C, our antonym for diffident, and we say next. So on to question number 20, the word is vanquish, and the options given are vanish, varnish, surrender, and trample. And our antonym is going to be option C, which says surrender. So vanquish, when you defeat someone comprehensively in any competition, in any war, to defeat, outright defeat. And surrender is when you accept defeat. So they are opposites again, antonyms. So we click option C. So we come to question number 21. The word given is nonconformist, and the options given are conventional, practical, fashionable, and nomad. And the correct option is option A, which says conventional. Now a nonconformist is someone who doesn't follow established ways of behavior or dressing or thinking, who doesn't follow normal social norms. But conventional is someone who follows convention, follows what is normally followed by other people. So they are opposites, antonyms. Option A, we say. On to question number 22, the word is malleable, and the options given are teachable, intractable, manageable, and pliable. And the correct option is going to be option B, which says intractable. Malleable is something which can be easily changed, easily managed, easy to influence. Intractable is something which is very hard to control. So they are opposites, we can see, and our antonym for malleable is option B, intractable. On to question number 23. The word is vanity, and the options given are pride, love, courage, and humility. And the right option is going to be option D, which says humility. Vanity is when you have too much pride in yourself, when you think of yourself as very important, self-importance. And humility, on the other hand, is when you don't think that you are the most important thing, and the quality of being humble. So it is, again, antonyms we can see. So we click option D and go to the next question. So coming to question number 24, the word is terminate, and the options given are confine, repeal, commence, and progress. And the correct option is option C, which says commence. Terminate means to finish something, to make something end in between, and commence would be to start something. So we can see they are antonyms here. We click option C. So coming to question number 25, the word is captivate, and the options given are distract, obscure, imprison, and release. And the correct option is going to be option A, which says distract. Now, captivate is when you keep someone's attention, an audience or a group of people, by being very charming and attractive in how you're talking. And distract is to take someone's attention away from what they are trying to do. We can see they are antonyms again, so we click option A. So coming to question number 26, the word is congenial, and the options given: accord, snug, engaging, and unpleasant. And the correct option is option D, which says unpleasant. So congenial is something which is very pleasant. So the antonym is going to be unpleasant. So we click option D and say next. So coming to question number 27, the word is abjure, and the options given are renounce, relinquish, abnegate, and acquire. And our correct option is option D, which says acquire. Abjure is to give up something, like a set of beliefs, giving up any religion, things like that. And acquire is to gain something, to acquire something. So we can see they are antonyms. So we go and click option D. Go to the next question. So question number 28, the word is insolent, and the options given are mannerly, haughty, defiant, and rude. And the correct option is option A, which says mannerly. Insolent is someone who is very rude, who doesn't have good manners, and mannerly is just the opposite. Someone who has good manners is mannerly. So antonyms again, option A we click and say next. If we come to question number 29, the word is barren, and the options given are fertile, abundant, harsh, and fallow. So our correct option is option A, which says fertile. Barren is a place where plants don't grow, and fertile is a place where it is very good for plants to grow, good environment for plants. So they are antonyms, and so we click option A and say next. So we come to question number 30. The word is gregarious, and the options given are unsociable, unsympathetic, ungrateful, and unattractive. And the right option is option A, which says unsociable. Gregarious is a person who talks a lot, who is very social, who likes to be among people. Unsociable is someone who's just the opposite, who doesn't like to mix up with people. So they are antonyms. We say option A. Click and say next. So coming on to question number 31. the word is arid, and the options given are dry, fertile, barren, and fallow. And the right option is option B, which says fertile. Now, arid is something which is very dry. Some areas which have very less rains, not good for crops. And fertile is an area where it's very good for crops to grow. So they are antonyms. Once again, we click option B and say next. So on to question number 32. The word is intangible, and the options given are ethereal, concrete, insubstantial, and abstract. So our option, the right option, is option B, which says concrete. Intangible is something which exists, but it's very hard to touch, or it's very hard to perceive. And concrete is something which is very real, which is based on facts. So they are antonyms once again. So we click option B and say next. On to question number 33. The word is virtue, and the options given are wise, curse, vile, vice, and cunning. So our correct option is option C, which says vice. Now, virtue is having very high moral standards, something which is very good, and vice is something which is not good, having immoral values. So we click option C, the antonym for virtue, and we say next. So we come to question number 34, and the word is inclement, and the options given are radical, mild, harsh, and tyrannical. And the correct option is option B, which says mild. Inclement is relating to the weather when it is not pleasant, it's very cold or very wet, and mild is pleasant, we can say. It is not unpleasant. So they are the closest antonyms we have here. So we click option B and say next. Moving on to question number 35. The word again is visionary, but the options are different. So let's look at the options. They say realist, artist, idealist, and socialist. And the correct option is option A, which says realist. So visionary is someone who has a lot of imagination and who can plan for the future. And realist, on the other hand, is someone who is only thinking about the present moment, who is very practical. So they are the closest antonyms we have here. So we click option A and say next. So on to question number 36. The word is extraneous, and the options given are unusual, dispirited, relevant, and intrusive. So our option, the correct option, is going to be option C, which says relevant. Extraneous is something which is not very relevant to the subject, something which is extra, and relevant is, well, it's relevant, something which is close to the subject, which relates to the subject. So they are antonyms again. We click option C and say next. We come to question number 37. The word is invincible, and the options given are impregnable, omnipresent, powerless, and potent. And the correct option is the third option, option C, which says powerless. Invincible is someone who cannot be defeated, who is very powerful, and powerless is someone without power. So they are antonyms, and we click option C and go to the next question. So coming to question number 38, the word is disavowal, and the options given are rebuttal, repeal, approval, and appeal. And the correct option over here is option C, which says approval. Now, disavowal is when you deny any knowledge of the subject, and approval is when you accept something is good and it is accepted. So they are very nearly antonyms. The closest antonym we can find over here, we say option C. Go on to the next question. Brings us to question number 39. The word is quiescent, and the options given are ignorant, dormant, innocent, and animated. And our right option is option D, which says animated. Quiescent is someone who's very inactive, dormant, and animated is when you're full of life, full of energy. So they're very nearly opposites. They are the closest antonyms we have here. So we click option D and say next. We come to question number 40, and the word is lenient, and the options given are strict, solid, forgiving, and stoic. And the correct option is option A, which says strict. So lenient is when you're not strict. So it is the direct antonym of the word lenient over here, strict. So we click option A. Then we say next. So coming to question number 41, the word given is ferocious, and the options given are mild, sweet, brutal, and wild. And the right antonym is option A, which says mild. Now, ferocious is something which is very savage, very strong, very violent, and mild is something which is not violent or not ferocious. So the closest antonym we have is mild. We click option A and go to the next question. Come to question number 42. The word is irascible, and the options given are cranky, choleric, amiable, and waspish. And the right antonym is option C, which says amiable. Irascible is someone who is easily angered, and amiable is someone who is very pleasant to be with. So irascible is of course very unpleasant because he is easily angered. So option C, amiable, is the right antonym for this. So we click next. If we come to question number 43, the word is forlorn, and the options given are joyful, lucky, fortunate, and free. And closest antonym we can find over here is option A, which says joyful. Forlorn is when you are very lonely and unhappy, abandoned, and joyful is when you're very happy, full of joy. So the closest antonyms we have, option A it is. Click on option A, save and next. So we come to question number 44. The word is obstinate, and the options given are docile, aggravate, offensive, and oppressive. And the right option is option A, which is docile. Now, obstinate is someone who is very stubborn, who is unwilling to change his views, his behavior, anything. And docile is someone who listens, and you don't have to be very hard on him because he normally listens. So it is the closest antonym we have to obstinate. So we click option A and say next. So we come to question number 45. The word is courage, and the options given are bravery, weakness, cowardice, and fear. And the right option is option C, which says cowardice. Now, courage is being very brave, having a lot of courage, of course, and cowardice is just the opposite of that, lacking courage, not being brave. So exact antonyms, we click option C and say next. So coming to question number 46, the word is rugged, and Let's look at the options. They say hard, sturdy, smooth, and rough. And the answer is option C, which says smooth, because rugged is something which is uneven, not smooth, and smooth is, well, not rugged. So they are antonyms. We click C, option C, and say next. So we come to question number 47. The word is impromptu, and the options given are punctual, prompt, prepared, and profound. And the correct option is option C, which says prepared. So impromptu is something like a speech which is done without any preparation, there and then, at the moment, without preparation. And prepared is, of course, when you go ready, when you go prepared. So we can see they are antonyms. So we click option C and go on to the next question. Question number 48. The word is evade, and the options given are invade, escape, shun, and confront. And our option, the correct one, is going to be option D, which says confront. Evade is escaping from something when you don't want to face something, and confront is facing something. So they are exactly opposites, and we click option D, click and say next. So we come to question number 49. The word is insular, and the options given are cosmopolitan, isolated, narrow, parochial. So the correct option is, in fact, option A, which says cosmopolitan. Now, insular is someone who is only interested in his own country or his own ideas, and not interested in something which is from outside. And cosmopolitan is normally a place where people from different cultures, different races live together, influenced by a lot of cultures. So they are the closest antonyms we have here. So we click option A, and then I say next. We come to question number 50, and the word is insolent. And let's look at the options they've given: scrupulous, emollient, courteous, and lazy. And the correct option is option C, which says courteous. Insolent, someone who is very ill-mannered, who doesn't have good manners, very unpleasant. And courteous is someone who is very well-mannered, very pleasant. So closest antonym, we click option C and say next. So on to number 51. The word is invaluable, and the options are priceless, rare, inestimable, and worthless. And the right option is option D, which says worthless. Invaluable is something which has a lot of worth, which has a lot of value, and worthless is something which doesn't have worth or value. Antonyms, we click option D and say next. We come to number 52. The word is contemplative, and the options given are wistful, unreflective, numbed, and aroused. And the correct option is option B, which says unreflective. Contemplative is when you think deeply about something, and unreflective is when you don't think. So they are antonyms here. We say option B and next. So on to number 53. The word is futile, and the options given are distinct, open, pleased, and fruitful. So our answer is option D, which says fruitful. Now futile is when it is not worth, when it is useless, because there is no chance of success. And fruitful is when the results are very useful and because of the work you've put in, and you can see good results over there. So they are antonyms again. So we click option D and say next. So we come to number 54. The word is interim, and the options, let's look at the options here. They read provisional, tentative, permanent, and interval. So our answer is option C, which says permanent. Interim is something which is lasting for an interval until something more permanent is found. So it is something which is transitory, something which is not permanent, doesn't last for a long time. And permanent is something which is going to last for a long time. So they are antonyms. We click option C and say next. So we come to number 55. The word is treachery, and the options given are betrayal, muling, loyalty, and rebellion. And our answer is option C, which says loyalty. Treachery is when you break trust, when you are disloyal, and loyalty is when you display loyalty and trust. So they are antonyms over here. We click option C and say next. So coming to question number 56, the word is infirm, and the options given are strong, weak, supporter, and believer. And the correct option is option A, which says strong. Infirm is being very sick and very weak, unable to perform a physical task, and being strong is, well, being strong, opposite of being infirm. So they are antonyms. We click option A. Go on to the next question. Coming to question number 57, the word is reassure, and the options given are comfort, console, inspire, and discourage. And our answer is going to be option D, which says discourage. Because reassure is when you say something to make someone's doubts or fears go away, and discourage is when you say something that makes someone lose confidence and lose courage. So they are antonyms here. So we click option D and say next. Coming to question number 58, the word is ingenious, and the options, they are brilliant, pedestrian, crafty, and original. And our antonym is option B, which says pedestrian. Now, being ingenious is when you are very original, very creative, and being pedestrian is lacking creativity, lacking inspiration. So they are almost opposites here. Perfect antonym for this. We click option B and say next. So coming to number 59, the word is immense, and the options given are huge, innocuous, tiny, and gigantic. And the right option is option C, which says tiny. So being immense is being very big, very large, very huge, and tiny is very, very small. So direct antonyms here. We click option C and save and next. We come to question number 60, and the word is zenith, and the options given are nadir, shallow, low, and bottom. So the right option is option A, which says nadir. Zenith is right at the top of something, and nadir is right at the bottom of something. So exact opposites, perfect antonyms. We click option A and say save and next. So there we go. We are done, ready to submit our answers. There we go. Thank you. Thank you so much.